it's what we all thought. It's pretty much just confirmation at this point. The freshman phenom and potential national player of the year, Cooper Flagg, has been ruled out for tonight's game, the ACC tournament semifinal, as Duke takes on North Carolina. And then also Malik Brown, who aggravated his shoulder injury. He was already had the harness yesterday going, and then you could see him grabbing that same shoulder. He is out as well. So Flagg and Brown, like Brown is obviously not the household name, but is a really good defender. Like he's one of their better defenders. Flagg might be their best defender. So a couple of defenders out for Duke, and obviously Flagg can do a lot more than just defend, but those guys are out for Duke tonight against UNC. The betting market right now is pretty much status quo because I think everybody anticipated that this would happen. Head coach John Shire earlier today said that it's unlikely that he'll play. So no crazy movement right now in the betting market, and we'll see where this number goes as we get closer to tip-off. But PJ, no Cooper Flagg. We thought that this would happen, but it is now confirmed for tonight's game, Duke-UNC tipping off at 7 Eastern.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Femi, no surprise. Even if like he was okay to play, you don't play him. I mean, there's
what's
no
the point?
There's no point, right? Obviously, everything that matters is happening next week in the NCAA tournament. So, I think we won't see him again until the tournament. We might not even see him again until the round of 32, Femi. Because let's be honest, I would hope you wouldn't need Cooper Flagg to beat the 16 seed, whoever it is that Duke ends up playing. So. Yeah, I mean, do you think for sure he's playing? Like, what percentage? Obviously, we have no idea. I mean, it's all speculation at this point. We're only seeing what's being reporting and, like, pictures and all that. But, like, what percentage would you put it at that he plays in the NCAA tournament? Like, would you put it at, like, 85, 90? Like, are you pretty certain, or is it more like 60, 70 for you?
I'm pretty certain he's going to play in the NCAA tournament. The question is just, when does he play? I think that's the key question here. Like, is it Friday? Because like Duke is going to be in the Raleigh site, and the Raleigh games are Friday, Sunday, which they kind of do catch a break there, getting that extra day. It's not a Thursday, Saturday setup. It's a Friday, Sunday setup. So that's key for his rehab process. I mean, maybe they want to have him go out there and play against the 16 seed. Like you, they don't need him. And if you lose to a 16 without Cooper Flagg, guess what you weren't going to do? Win the national title. You were never going to win the title if you can't beat the 16 seed without Cooper Flagg. So I think that they err on the side of caution. My guess is that we see him Sunday, but that's just me guessing. Like, I have no inside information. I'm not a doctor. I'm just speculating based on like what I would do if I was in that position and I was running the Duke men's basketball program. I would say, put this kid on ice, let him rest up. Let's see you Sunday in the round of 32 when we take on like an actual legit team that could maybe give us a scare. So that's kind of how I think it plays out, but you never know. I mean, he's also like 18 years old, barely. Like, I think he just turned 18, so maybe he's a fast healer, and who knows? Maybe they beat North Carolina tonight, and we see him tomorrow in the ACC championship game. Probably be a little bit foolish, but he could pound the table and say he wants to play. These guys are competitors, so I would guess that he doesn't play this weekend, and then maybe we don't see him until the end of next weekend in the second round. But what do you think happens in this particular market tonight against North Carolina, though? Because I think like a lot of, if you've been paying any attention to college basketball, and even if you haven't been, like, you understand that Cooper Flagg is injured. Like, it's been a top story on all the big shows. It's been a top story on Twitter. Like, everyone's tweeting about it because he is like the next guy, the next coming for Americans-born star basketball players. And a lot of people, NBA circles, have been talking about this Cooper Flagg injury as well. Like, do you think that we're going to get a lot of recreational money the closer we get to tip-off saying, oh, you know what, I want to bet North Carolina plus the points because Carolina needs this game to try to make the NCAA tournament? Like, that's the biggest headline for the Tar Heels purposes, is that, like, they need to win just to get in. But then also, hey, it's Duke without their best player. Maybe this is Duke banged up a little bit. Like, do you think we're going to see Carolina money, or do you think that all the Carolina money has already been baked into the market because we all anticipated that you would not be playing tonight?
I think it's going to be a pros versus Joes game. I think the sharp money is going to be on Duke. I think the public's going to be on UNC for everything that you were saying, right? You just break down the game and you think about it and you're like, okay, one game needs this game, and that's Carolina. And the other team is just kind of playing for pride, right? They're just kind of playing to be playing, and that's obviously Duke. And then it's the fact that Duke's missing the best player in the country, and he impacts the game in every facet. So, yeah, I certainly think there's a case for North Carolina, but again, Femi, you and I love betting into these spots. You call it the fallen hero, right? Especially in college.
Baby.
Especially in college. In the NFL, I mean, there's so much money that goes into those markets. And obviously now that we reach this point in the college season, there's a lot of money going into these games too. But it's tougher to grade how much like a college player means to a line, right? Like a lot of times you see bookmakers struggling to do that with college quarterbacks. You see it in college basketball as well. So I think the projected line with Cooper Flagg was around like 13, 14, and now it's down to 7.5. So I mean, they think this guy's worth a whole heck of a lot, which makes sense. I mean, I think he's worth that much too. But I like Duke. I think we're getting a buy low here on Duke. And I think, like, this almost motivates Duke even more. You know what I mean? Like those other players, right? They get an opportunity. A lot of these guys who wouldn't get a chance to play against North Carolina, isn't that a big reason you go to Duke, is to play against UNC and play in those games? And a lot of those kids, who wouldn't get a chance to play as much if Cooper Flagg was healthy, are going to get a chance to play today. So I think it's an underrated, like, motivational spot for Duke. Like, we all see the angle for UNC, but I think in a weird way, Femi, like, the Cooper Flagg injury almost, like, motivates the rest of the Duke roster more. So I like that. I also took Con Knipple over 18.5 points for people who are able to bet player props in their states. 2 player props I really like tonight. That's one, because he had 28 yesterday. Femi, I was watching after the game. He goes over to the ACC desk, and he's sitting with, like, Joel Berry and all these guys. And he's like, yeah, coach basically told me at halftime, like, I gotta take over. Like, they're coming to me, like, I gotta score. So, and that was just for one half. So I think for the full game, obviously, Con Knipple's going to be in attack mode tonight. So I like his over 18.5 points as well.
There we go. Con Knipple over on the points prop for tonight's game between North Carolina and Duke. And I agree with you. I think, like, both of these teams are highly motivated. Like, this could be an exhibition game in July. It could be the national title game in early April, or the Final Four that we saw a couple of years ago, actually, between these two teams. But like you don't need much to get these guys motivated when they see that other jersey on the other side, and it's like, oh, like, I'm a Duke player and I see a North Carolina jersey. It's go time. Like, let's go. Let's get after these dudes. Like, yeah, like, we care about this game as much as any game all season long. I think they'll be very motivated to try to win this game and win it big. And also, maybe it's a win one for the Gipper kind of a thing. Like let's win it for Coop. Let's do that.
Exactly.
Let's cut down the nets in Charlotte for Cooper Flagg, even though he's only going to be with the team for like one more month and go off to the NBA. Like, this is, I think, a very much win it for him kind of a scenario. So yeah, early thoughts for me. Spoiler alert: we're going to do all our bets from Gambling Night in America at 6:40 Eastern Time. I like Duke tonight, and I'm waiting to see what we see in the market, because, like, right now there's a couple 6.5s that are out there. 7 is still the consensus number. There's like some 7 minus 105. I'm hoping people come in and bet North Carolina so I can get as good a number as possible on the Duke Blue Devils.